Hey y'all, it's January 25th, 2018. Y'all, want to holler at you about a video that I just made concerning a whole situation regarding Katelyn Nicole Davis and her justice, her story, and everything like that. I want to talk to y'all about it because, like I stated in that video, from here on out, most assuredly, from here on out, anybody involved in researching, investigating, doing detective work, anything, seeking justice, anybody, there's going to be a faction of two groups. You could call it my opinion. There's going to be a faction of two groups. One faction is and already has been taking the words of what I just read right from Katelyn's own mouth. They're going to take those words very seriously. They're going to take them deadly seriously. Even if they don't believe in Jesus or anything like that, no matter what their religion is, they're going to take Katelyn's words seriously. They're going to listen to them. Truly listen. There's going to be another faction don't really listen so much. They're going to really be listening to that, all that jazz. They don't want to really hear that. And that's cool. Thing is, what's good, what's bad? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to be here to tell you what's good and what's bad. I can tell you it's two factions. Right, and they're going to separate even further. They've been separating. All right, and I just want to make everybody aware of it's because of the fact that, you know, things seem to be settling here. They seem to be resolving themselves. The moral of the story seems to be becoming apparent, more apparent. All the different morals to the story are becoming clear as day at this point. We're over a year into it. All right. They're becoming clear as day. In fact, they're coming directly out of Katelyn Nicole Davis's mouth, if you want to listen. Right? So like I said, you know, a lot of people are going to have questions starting with why, how, questions like what, why, how, when, all these questions. They're going to have a lot of questions for me. Thing is, what I got to let you know that from here on out, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and do my thing. And I'll explain that in a second. But, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and do my thing. And if you have questions like how or why or what, all right, I would suggest that you just pay a reference to that video. It's called Katelyn Talking About Beauty and God, published by Steve Smith on December the 14th, 2017. Just go ahead and reference that, because here's the thing. I don't know if you have to play it and repeat it. I don't know if you have to repeat it in slow motion, which is all the things that I did, because I had to transcribe the whole thing. So I listened to it many, many times. I don't know what you're going to have to do, but just go ahead and read it. Think about it. Actually listen. Actually consider it. Actually deem it as something that should be considered. Right? I mean, some people are going to think it's significant, some people ain't, but, you know, all the answers are exactly in that video. If you got questions for me, the answers are in the video. All right, so the thing is, I respect everybody out there. Here's the thing about it. Like I said, a lot of people are going to consider Katelyn's actual word. A lot of people are going to listen to every word, kind of like I did, and repeat it over and over. Maybe listen to it every day. I don't know. A lot of people are going to listen to those words and really take heed to them. And a lot of people are not going to do that. Right? And then I guess that's just going to be all right. But the thing is, like I said, both those sides really can't work together necessarily too much. It's not too much that they can do with each other and stuff. But the first people I was talking about who are going to listen and perhaps agree with Katelyn, those people, they're going to look at Katelyn. I'm here to tell you this. They're going to look at Katelyn and think, wow, this girl is very wise. You know what I mean? She was so deep. She has such a thirst for Jesus. You know, like, she really reached out for Jesus. And the thing is, people love to play it off like, oh, she was born in the South, so they make everybody love Jesus. No, actually they don't. Right? In fact, there's no evidence to prove it. In fact, it came from Katelyn Nicole's own mouth that they didn't ever read the Bible in her house. This was not ever something that was forced onto her, and the evidence clearly shows it. The evidence clearly shows that this was not ever something that was ever forced onto her. You know, her mom might have talked about Jesus and everything, but she ain't never read the Bible or anything like that. No, Jesus was never forced on Katelyn. Right? She's speaking very coherently, by the way. This video. Right. The people who probably are going to listen to the words, really listen, dwell upon them, they might think, shoot, Katelyn actually, gosh, she understands something. She understands something that a lot of people don't. Some people might look at what she said and say, it seems like Katelyn really, really, really understands the nature of God. The true nature of God, because you see all these preachers and whoever else out there running around talking about Jesus and God and all this, but who really understands the nature? A lot of people are going to watch Katelyn and they're going to think, well, you know what, this young girl really truly does understand the nature of God. And her words are very crucial. In fact, she seems to be a messenger. It's almost as though, biblically speaking, that it's almost as though she's a prophet. Understand that a prophet is always sent. Understand that a messenger is always sent. And the prophet is usually ignored. Right? A lot of people are going to look at Katelyn in that regard and say, oh man, she's very wise for her age. She's so beautiful. She believed in God and Jesus. That was her thing. That's who she was. That's what she professed to people. Some people are going to look at that and say, this little girl, she really truly understood the nature of God. Some people are going to say, well, she's a little girl. She just didn't even know better. And still, we got to still fight for her justice. I don't know what way, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it one day. Fight for her justice one day. All right. Meanwhile, just to wrap it up, you guys, this isn't like a video about bragging or anything, right? But I'm done with it. I'm done with pointing my finger every which way because I already understand all the characters. All right? I'm done with that. I'm more on the tip of actually listening to Katelyn's words because, like I said, I had to repeat it all sort of times to transcribe it. I really dwelt upon the words. And in fact, it taught me something today that I didn't even, it made me grow as a person, really dwelling upon her words and how crucial they were and how foretelling they were. You understand that last time she referred to herself in the past tense. All right? There's all sort of things that come to mind. Like, everything just starts, the dots start connecting. You start to understand that there was a certain point in which Jesus was keeping Katelyn here. Who else was? Did she talk about somebody else? Curing her of depression. Did she talk about somebody else making her beautiful on the inside and turning from the outside? Who did she talk about? Was there a specific person or something? Did she have all sort of faith in that person? So, all right, just to wrap up this video, people are going to have so many questions. I don't really have answers no more. The answers are in the video. Right. They're going to have questions, but like one of their questions, which it always is, oh man, she believed in Jesus, but that didn't do her no good. Oh, Katelyn, she believed in Jesus her whole little young life, but that didn't do her no good. In fact, I guess Jesus failed Katelyn. I guess Jesus just failed Katelyn. All right. Remember this. Jesus was the only thing keeping Katelyn here and happy for an extended period of time of I don't know how long, but it was very extended. Jesus was. All right. And so when people are pointing their finger at Jesus saying, oh, Jesus let us down. Jesus made this girl all tormented. I want to tell you something clearly from Katelyn's own mouth. What happened was Jesus always loved Katelyn and Katelyn always knew it. The Son of God loved Katelyn. That's what kept her going for quite some time. She knew it. She felt it. She could feel it. All right. She did understand the nature of God, which is all inclusive, by the way. And everybody likes to pretend that it isn't. All right. It is all inclusive. It does accept anybody. It does not care about your religion. We're talking about Jesus here because he actually kept Katelyn here on earth to present us with videos that are absolutely priceless. They're absolutely timeless. He put her here to do something and she did it. And not only that, she told you, I believe my God put me here to do something and I'm going to do it. And then she did it. All right. She really, really accomplished touching a lot of people's hearts. In fact, countless hearts, dude. In fact, there's going to be so many countless hearts throughout the year. Saving people. How? With what words? Probably her own words, actually. Her own words, probably. And a lot of her words were about Jesus. A lot of people are very offended by it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I got to tell you before we get out of here, the things that Katelyn was saying about God and how God will actually turn you physically good looking. I've actually made videos about that, and it's kind of eerie now at this point. I've actually made videos about that. How you can actually make yourself more physically, just because appearance, you can make yourself look better from the inside, all right? But that's something that the Bible says. That's something that God says. Whoever that is, that's something that Jesus says. It's something that Nicole says. That's something that I say. But the thing is, lots of times we get totally ignored. We get like bullied or whatever. People don't want to hear nothing about it, and they just call us ugly, or they say, "Shut the hell up, get the hell up out of here," and that's whatever. That's whatever. Well, what I had to let you know is, Jesus, because a lot of people are pointing their finger, probably, Jesus did not steal Katelyn away from you or anybody else. Jesus witnessed Katelyn literally coming to him and just confessing and laying it all out there for him, just surrendering. I'm here to tell you from that video alone, and there's more videos, you can tell that God looked down upon her, saw her, how beautiful she was, saw that she reached the maximum potential of a person and their faith in him. And he also noticed, guess what he also noticed? He looked down and he saw that there was not one person in her life that really appreciated it. As beautiful as it was, as miraculous as it was, and nobody, not one, all right? And if there was one, that person certainly wasn't allowed in her life because she didn't know that person. She felt very alone. God looked down upon it. See, all the answers are being shown to me. They're not being told to me, but they're being shown to not only me, but anybody clearly upon the internet. God looked down upon that. So you know what? I don't think the earth even deserves Katelyn. Right? You can think whatever you want. You can be religion, whatever religion you want. God looked down upon Katelyn and said, I don't even think the earth deserves Katelyn. All right? And in fact, she already passed the test. Look at her. She already passed the test. You know what? God, Jesus thought to himself, you know what? I would just bring her home to me. That's it. Because they don't appreciate it. In fact, I'm not only going to bring her home to me, but she's going to do a whole video series in which she shows and tells of me. Why? Because I always send a messenger, dude. You can either ignore it or you could take heed to it. There's going to be two factions, all right? It's a big old divide. Call it the tribulation. Call it whatever you want and stuff, all right? It's January. It's January the 25th, y'all. 2018, and we're reaching the final conclusions. Guess what? Justice still going to be had here in the Katelyn Nicole Davis situation, all right? Meanwhile, there's solutions on the other end. All right. There's solutions on the other end, and this video is already long enough, but like I said, I'm not here to brag or anything. Thing is, I'm done with pointing my fingers at people and asking people to do something and talking bad about people who don't do nothing, all right? At this point, I understand that Katelyn, she was an all-inclusive type of person. So is Jesus, by the way. Katelyn was an all-inclusive type of person. She did want to pay attention to people. She did love helping people. That's a Jesus kind of thing, by the way. Just in case if you didn't know, Katelyn did all that sort of thing. Jesus kind of promotes all that sort of thing. And, whether you believe him or not, it does not matter. I think you're beautiful. Katelyn thought you were beautiful. Jesus thinks you're beautiful. It does not matter. You are a child of God. All right. And thing is, everybody deserves to be listened to. That's another moral of this story. And we do have to get out of here, but that is another moral of the story. How is it that not everybody's listened to? How is it that we have individual miracles spread out all over every which way, millions and millions and millions of individuals who are extremely special, and yet you see like couple hundred different people on your TV all the time and stuff like this? Does not make any sense, and it does not work for nobody. People feel very like they don't have nobody's attention. They don't have nobody's attention. All sort of signs that you could miss. Katelyn clearly, we got to get out of here, but Katelyn was talking about all sorts of stuff. Signs that everybody to this day is missing. You note that she said she only put on makeup really when she wanted to feel better. So when she was putting on makeup, it was probably because she was kind of depressed. She was probably in a very depressed state at that point. The world's showing her, you know what, we're just not going to appreciate you. God went ahead and called her home. A lot of people are going to call God bad for that. A lot of people are going to go in a different direction, and that's cool. I'll holler at y'all anyways. It's January the 25th, 2018, and I'll holler at y'all.